Oh, welcome to the Sharpe Show. So happy to have you with me this evening, right at 7 p.m. on the East Coast. And I haven't done many Sharpe shows recently, as you can tell. I have been insanely busy with other things I've been trying to achieve. However, I always go out of my way to provide at least one AMA every single week, and I will be off doing other things this weekend, to include this weekend, Saturday, at 2 p.m. Eastern, doing a fundraiser for my governor campaign. I'll be doing that also. So I will be doing a bunch of different things this weekend. So this will be my last Sharpe show of the week, or my only one. So that's what will happen this week. We'll do more. But next week I'll be back on. I know you'll be like, wait a minute, Larry, will you be back on during Christmas week? I will, because I'm crazy. That will be the reason. But it's true. I am, and I will be here. So please enjoy. The AMA I wanted to start with was something I thought was kind of interesting. And that is, so I have a little bit of a frog in my throat from the illness that I contracted from my children. I still have a little bit left, still hear a little bit of it. So what's going on with what I think is Trump supporters, to include Trump pundits, Trump people in the cabinet, all of those things. And are they starting to get worried about 2026? I feel like the answer is yes. And let me tell you why I feel that's true. You tell me if you think I'm wrong. I'm happy to have a conversation about this, or someplace else. Again, AMA, I'll take whatever, but I want to get the juices flowing, us up and running. Several things been happening. There's that basically Republican infighting over Charlie Kirk's death, Erica Kirk versus Candace Owens. Now, is it so uncommon for pundits to fight each other? No, not at all. That's not an uncommon thing. Helps to create drama, helps to grow the audience, right? That's a common thing on the left and the right. This one, though, seems kind of personal and pretty harsh, and is drawing more and more people in, right? The Nick Fuentes parts, all of those aspects coming into Tucker Carlson. And it's going longer than like just, hey, let's be mad and gain some followers and then be buddies again. That's not happening. Jimmy Dore's involved. Like, everybody is starting to get involved on either side of the other. And on top of that, the idea of putting Israel in the middle of everything. Oh my God, another big issue. Now you might go, but Larry, this has happened in the past. It has. However, this is where I think, and I mentioned this earlier, this is where Trump is not doing a good job. He needs to put his coalition together. And he did it last year. Like last year, he used his iron fist and he put his coalition together. It's not together now. And I think the supporters are starting to get worried. I think supporters are getting worried that Trump has got his eye off the ball and is going to put it back on keeping his coalition together. That's what I feel. And I think the right answer of that is what Wiley tells him to do, is get out there and start talking to people, right? I think that's not a bad thing, to get back out there, be seen with the people, try to get his coalition back together, because it's clearly fracturing. Clearly it's happening now. That is happening. Can he draw them back together? Now, of course, he walked out there and two other things happened, which were not good for him. Wiley did that interview and said a bunch of stuff. And boy, did they take that interview and run. Now, you might go, Larry, it's the left-leaning media or whatever. Yeah, but you knew that. Like, right? Like, you knew that, right? If you were going to go on that, why didn't you record it yourself? Why didn't you have something available? Why didn't you? Right? That was a mistake, just letting that happen. You could be mad or mad. That was a mistake. If you were going to do that, you had to record that on your own too, to keep all the context, to keep everything together. That had to happen. And it looks like that didn't happen. So now that's going on, which is a problem also. Healthcare, economy, not going well. People upset. And then Trump's out there getting mad at Rob Reiner. I'm getting mad at Rob Reiner when they murdered him. I said they murdered him, but when he was murdered. Look, you know me. You've seen me. When Charlie Kirk was killed, what was my advice to the left? Shut up. Say nothing. Just say nothing. The left obviously didn't like Charlie Kirk, clearly. Shut up. Let the right mourn. They just lost somebody. Be quiet. Let the right mourn. Now, here's what I will give the right overall. I'll give them credit on this one. When Rob Reiner was killed, the vast majority of people on the right just shut up, which was the right move. When their people died, let them mourn. Was murdered, didn't die, let them mourn. And most people on the right just shut, I'm going to be quiet, whatever. Let it go. Excuse me. Not Trump. Trump had to say something. That was not good. Trump should have listened to me. I told him, just say nothing. Let the left mourn. Say nothing. When Charlie Kirk was killed, let the right mourn. Just that. And the left didn't listen, and they got hammered, and they deserved to be hammered for that because they should have kept their mouth shut and let the right mourn. Well, now the left has to mourn, and Trump said something, and he's getting beat up by his own. Trump, that one you deserve. You should have kept your mouth shut. Said nothing. Just moved on and went out there and rallied your base. You got other stuff to worry about other than Rob Reiner. That is like the least of your worries, right? That's so low on your priorities. I don't know why the hell you said a word. I'd have kept my mouth shut on that one. That was a mistake. We got Venezuela happening now too. A lot of stuff's happening, and I feel like it's fracturing a lot of the people, and they're starting to get worried. There was an audio bit leaked with some Republicans going, consultants going, we're screwed. We're going to lose 2026. Like, it's going to be a bloodbath. It's over. Now, I'm not saying that's true. I'm saying that's what consultants are saying. If Trump doesn't spin us around in 2026 and provide some hope again, look, as I always say, it's looking bad for Trump right now. But if anyone can fix it, it is him. If this can be fixed, it's Trump who can fix it. Or if this can't be fixed. One or the other, right? Either this cannot be fixed and the Republicans are going to get hammered in 2026, or it's Trump who can fix it if it can be fixed. His force of will, as I said, has been huge, but not recently. Now, some of you are going to tell me I'm wrong, I'm sure. Get mad at me, whatever. I gave you my 2 cents. And whether you like it or not, click the button known as Lima India Kilo Echo. Please repost this and share this. If you're saying, Larry, you're crazy, I want to yell at you. Awesome. Then share it so other people can come and watch you yell at me. If you're saying, no, Larry, you are so correct and handsome too, which you'll say no matter what, of course, doesn't matter. At that point, then let people see how handsome I am by sharing this. Don't be greedy. Don't be greedy. Share it, like it. It does matter. If you have not subscribed to this channel, why do you hate America? Why? Prove to me and the world you don't hate America. Subscribe. You hate America. Let me grab some comments if I could. I appreciate those. Starting off hot for him. Thank you so much. 999, my friend. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Always support me. I'm trying my best to keep this going. As you know, I'm splitting up my marketing here, so I get one side, the other side. I'm trying my best to keep the Sharpe way going. I appreciate that so much, brother. Every bit does count, and I appreciate what you keep giving me. You constantly keep giving, and I do appreciate it. All righty. Vivek says, percentage chance that an AUMF or war will be declared on Venezuela? 0. I think none. I don't think so. And here's the reason why. Should they? Yes. There is no doubt they should. Yes. But they won't, because Trump will not accept that he does not have this power. If he asks for one, he's accepting that he doesn't have the power. He's accepting that he shouldn't have bombed them boats. He's accepting, and he shouldn't have, but he's accepting that. He won't do that. So I think 0. My gut says no chance. He just does what he wants. He has to say it's okay. Otherwise, he's going back on what he said. So I think 0 chance. That's my view. D says, what's Larry's thoughts on Don Bongino stepping down in January? We'll go back to Rumble and his podcast. They're talking about the E-files again. I don't think it's about E-files at all. If he does, he'll defend them somehow. My gut says Bongino goes back to doing what is best. He's good at what he did, being a talking head. People liked him. His show was very popular, right? He made tons of money. People liked him. He should go back to it. He's not bad at it. People like him. So go make your money. Go do your thing, Dan. That's what you're good at. I'm not mad at you. Go do your thing. I think he will go back and he will start talking about the inside stuff. He will become the inside guy, which is a smart move for him. And then people will still watch him. People still like him. He still has charisma. He'll go back on and do some show, and he'll be talking about this is how it actually works. You thought that, but it's really this. Oh, no, what that means is this. The inside information is that. He'll do that, and he's good at it already. I think he'll be fine. Mike Voss, he got a lot to say. Okay, Mike got a lot to say. Let's see what Mike's saying. Mike Voss is in the house. He says, I'm not worried much. Are you counting chickens again? Maybe. I don't know. I'd be worried. This doesn't look good right now. Media overplays anything negative connected to Trump. Yes, but they have forever, right? That's not a new thing. They always do that. Republicans are in chaos. True. Yet Dems are broke in leadership, but fine. Republicans are relatively in chaos relatively. I mean, the war's not ending, but you can see it. They are struggling. The coalition, look, and I say it always, I give Trump credit. Putting the coalition together last year was great, brilliant, well done. That's how he got the majority that's how he beat Kamala Harris in the popular vote. Well done. But it wasn't going to be easy to keep together. It just wasn't. It's never easy to keep a coalition together ever. And I feel like he's taking his eye off the ball. That's what my gut says. Eye off the ball. And the Republicans are in a bit of chaos right now. And they're not feeling confident. You can see it. You can see it. They're not sure about the tariffs. And Wiley, her stuff she's saying, I mean, unless she's lying, and according to everyone in the White House, she's not lying. So there's some chaos there. There's people fighting back, bickering. And of course there is. Again, I'm not surprised by the bickering. He put together a coalition of people who aren't going to agree. Okay. But you got to iron fist that, Mike. You got to hold that together with his force of will. Not doing it. Is he getting slow because he's getting older? Maybe. Is he eye off the ball, focusing on Venezuela? I don't know, maybe. Is he not out with the people anymore, feeling that energy? My gut would say that. Get back out with the people, get the energy back, come back and put these people online. Or you're going to struggle. And the Dems are broken also. And they are leaderless. Yes, however, here's the advantage Dems do have. If one leader does step up, they will unite in 5 seconds. You saw it with Mamdani. They'll unite. They will. Mamdani is a far left, obviously, but you get any kind of mainstream person who can step up with some charisma, they'll all fall in line. That's the advantage they have over the Republicans right now. It is an advantage. Will that happen? I don't know, but that's an advantage. So, excuse me. He goes on. Also, changing the positions around midterms is normal. Not that Trump is in perfect position, but not nearly as bad as media needs him to be for Dems to have a good 2026. Do you think right now, Mike, that the Dems are going to have a bad 2026? Maybe you know something, I don't know. But unless things change, it's going to be a good 2026 for them. I mean, right now, the way things look right now, economy not getting better, spending not good, jobs not good. Now, the amount of jobs that we've lost across the year isn't that bad. The problem is there's been no new jobs to replace them. Very often, economies lose jobs. That's a common thing. But they make new jobs, and it makes up for it. And if in a good economy, we don't care, right? In a good economy, you can lose your job, every year as long as a new, better one's coming up, right? Lots of people do that in a good economy. It's not happening. You're losing their jobs, and there's no job or a worse job. That's not good, right? If I'm jumping ship from one job to a better job, to a higher salary or whatever, life's good. Lose my job. What do I care? Right? I'm getting more money or more status or whatever I'm looking for, or more interest, whatever I'm looking for, I'm getting. Fine. That's not happening. Not just that. Healthcare costs shooting through the roof. Everyone's scared of AI, energy. Unless things change, this is not the media saying. This is people out there. His own people are saying it, man. You've seen the polls. You've seen the interviews. You've seen the media. His own media is like, Fox News is like, dude, people can't afford bread. What you talking about? Fox News is saying that. I don't know, man. Mike says, finally, Trump was mean about Reiner. Yep. The two had zero love for each other, but it was nowhere near the dancing on the grave by tens. You're correct. But Trump is worth millions. That's where you're not correct, right? The dancing on the graves of the tens and thousands of Dems was not Democratic leadership. It was knucklehead Democrats on TikTok and Twitter and stuff. It was them. Democratic leadership did not do that. The top of the Republican Party, Trump, did that. There may be no comparison in tone, but in impact, absolutely. Absolutely. The Dems that were dancing on, you're right, there was thousands of them. Totally correct. But it wasn't like, Hakeem Jeffries. It wasn't like Chuck Schumer, right? They weren't doing that. They were like, they kept their mouth shut. They were doing a smart thing. It was the knuckleheads on TikTok and Twitter who were dancing on Charlie's grave. This is Trump. In this case, I'm going to give the average Republican lots of credit. The average Republican just shut up. I said, oh, all right, I lost mine. I'm not going to be like you. The average Republican was more magnanimous than the average Democrat. That's just true. And if you're a Democrat, you may be mad at that, but that's the truth. When Charlie Kirk was murdered, the average Democrat was far worse than the average Republican. Not even close. Far worse. You're right in comparison in that regard. Were there some Republicans who were happy Reiner was gone? Of course. But most, the average Republican kept their mouth shut, said, go ahead and grieve. I'm keeping my mouth shut. In fact, here's what I'll give the average Republican credit for. The average Republican is not excusing Trump. The average Republican is mad at Trump, saying you shouldn't have done it. You should keep your mouth shut. We did. And they didn't when Charlie Kirk died, and you copied them. You messed up. And they're right. Trump should have kept his mouth shut. He should have said nothing. He should have said nothing. I didn't see Hakeem Jeffries talking trash. I didn't see Hillary Clinton talking trash when Charlie Kirk. They were quiet. Later on, they were like, oh, I didn't like him or whatever, but they weren't dancing on his grave. So, yes. Anyway. All right. Keep going down here if I can. HVAC says Trump supporters aren't worried because they believe Trump would just call for an investigation into the results of any election where Democrats win. Excuse me for my hoarseness. I'm still recovering, so I apologize for that. I'll try to, if I can remember to mute. I'm not sure they believe that. I think there's two parts of the Republican Party right now. One part that is just worried. And they're like, I don't know what's going to happen here. I feel like the strength and cohesion that the early part of this year Trump felt is kind of gone. I think that part's kind of worried. The other part is like, no, Trump will fix it because he always does. I think there's a lot of that. Trump will fix it. He always does, of course. I think there's some of that. I see it. It's fine. It's Trump, he'll fix it. And again, if anyone can, it's him. But I don't think it's looking good at all. I don't. All right. Rick Pa, thank you. Oh, member 11 months. Thank you, my friend. We get the best TV with this president / reality show producer. Stir up maximum drama to distract the masses and dollars. It's all fake. Ooh, interesting. Interesting. Is it all distraction still? I mean, look, it could be, right? Distraction to get rid of the EpiPen files, the e-files, distraction to not worry about the war in Venezuela. Maybe. It seems like a stretch, but no, it could be. I mean, people are talking about this. Everywhere I go, people are talking about it's Tim Pool's mad at Candace Owens and whatever. And now Tim Pool's mad at Kim Iverson. And then Erica is mad at this one. And this one's mad at that one. And right? That kind of thing. That's what I keep seeing. So, you know what, Rick? I could see it. It's possible. I don't want to judge that yet. I want to see what happens. But maybe if all of a sudden, like in 3 months, we've forgotten about the e-files and we all of a sudden believe we've always been at war with Venezuela. We've always been at war with Venezuela. If that happens, then you're probably right. You're probably right. So yeah, maybe. I'm looking over at Rumble. JJ, thank you for the $10, my friend. Get some bone broth powder from Costco. Stock up on it. Probably not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. I could use some myself. Take care of myself. I could use some myself. I do appreciate that. So, all right, we'll keep going down here. All righty. So many of these, I do want to keep going down. Phil says, no war in Venezuela, a.k.a. Spanish Vietnam. Welcome to the rice fields. Oh, no. No. I don't want that. Please, no. Look, are we going to actually occupy Venezuela? I don't think so. I mean, we've got, 15,000 troops in the area? That's nowhere near enough to occupy Venezuela. Nowhere near. I mean, we would need 250,000 to occupy. So we're nowhere near that, right? I think if anything, we go in, pull homeboy out, and leave a hole there and hope that one of our guys pops in, which is a terrible idea, but I could see that happening maybe. So, yeah. All righty. Daniel's here. I am muted. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't realize I was muted. I keep trying to mute and unmute, and I keep trying to because I've got this cough I can't get rid of, so I apologize. All right, keep going here. Gigi says, I encourage you to hear Eric Erison's take on the Vanity Fair article. All right, I'll check it out. Absolutely. All right, D says, did you guys hear that the Sharpe Way YouTube channel is less than 270 away from 4,000 subscribers? So if you guys would rush over and subscribe, that would help. Lunatic is in the house. I appreciate him being here as always. All right. HVAC says, therefore, I shall resign the presidency effective at noon tomorrow. Vice President Vance will be sworn as president that hour in this office. It's something Trump is not going to do tonight. True. I think that's true. And that, by the way, for those of you who don't know, that's what President Nixon said. So, yes, he will not do that. So, yes, I did know that Bongino's gone. Yep, he's leaving. Yep. So, Trump's doing a thing at 9 p.m. Oh, my God. I guess I'll be watching that. Maybe I do a show later on. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe do a show later on. We will see. All right. Stop the Madness says, I'm going to be totally fair to Trump on the economy. We're still largely feeling the effects of Biden. Maybe, right? Maybe. But here's the issue. Whether we're seeing the effects of Biden or not, I'll say the same thing I've been saying about Trump in the past. His communication was terrible. You got to look at someone like Milei. Milei had good communication. Milei said the first year is going to suck. And then after that, it's going to be okay. You got to give me a year. Trump did not say that. Trump said, tomorrow is golden age and it's the best economy and the economy is A+. He did all of that. And I really wish he had not done that. I wish he had said, look, tariffs are not going to be, this week. Tariffs are going to hurt. And then it's going to work because X, Y, and Z, whatever his plan is. I don't even know his plan, but whatever his plan is. And then that's going to happen. And then this is going to happen. He has not communicated well in this Stop the Madness. He just hasn't. If Trump wanted to make this work, he had to communicate better and say, here's how it's going to work. Here's the pain we're going to feel. Here's how we're going to know it's getting better, so-and-so. And do the Clinton, I feel your pain, right? The problem is Trump projects power very well. He projects strength very well. He doesn't project empathy very well. So what he needs to do is get some people who project empathy and put them at the front and deal with this issue, right? The one thing that you remember, when Biden was in his prime, not his last one, but he was prime, he projected empathy amazingly well. So people liked him. That's why he was likable. Everyone liked the guy, right? Well, not everyone, but everyone who didn't hate him because they were Republicans liked him because he projected empathy very well. Trump doesn't, and that's okay. Find someone who does. Put that person on your team and do the communicating when it comes to this. This was not going to go easily. I think he just thought through sheer force of will, he just push it through. I'm not sure that's true. That's all I'm saying. I'm not sure that's true. So thank you for that. All right. Daniel says I'm muted. I'm unmuted now. Thank you for that. I'm now unmuted. I apologize. I'm trying to, I don't want you guys keep hearing me clearing my throat and clearing my nose because I'm ill. So I'm trying to be polite. So yeah, thank you. Fahim, thank you for $19, brother. The Trump administration is trying to revamp America's shipping industry. What are the odds will manifest? Almost zero. Our shipbuilding industry is trashed. I love the idea of us doing it. It's a great idea, but it's trashed. Almost all the ships are built in East Asia. Almost all. Korea, Japan, China. They're almost all built in East Asia now. It is rare to find decent shipping come out of us anymore. New England used to be New England was massive shipbuilding back for the whaling days, literally until like World War II. Like New England was huge when it came to shipbuilding. Not anymore. Those days are gone. New England was good. And so was the whole East Coast was just decent. New England was huge, but East Coast, we used to make submarines out of the East Coast. We still make some things, right? We make some warships still out of those, but that's about it. We don't make it. Yeah, it doesn't work. I wish it would. Again, if he wants to do that, I'm not against the idea, but you can't say, we're going to build shipbuilding and you're going to see ships popping out tomorrow. No, you're not. If you want to rebuild our shipbuilding industry, again, not against it at all. That's at least a 3-year plan. I mean, probably like a 5-year plan, maybe a 10-year plan. I have no idea, but it's at least 3 years. It takes a year to make a boat. So I got to figure out how to make the boat again, get the people who know how to make the boat, figure out which boats I'm going to make, get the equipment and the steel, whatever it takes to make the boat, revamp all the facilities to make the damn boat. I mean, that's at least a year, at least, right? Then I got to make the damn thing. Someone's going to buy the damn thing. I mean, we're talking 3 years at least, right? I mean, if anyone is more of an expert in shipbuilding, I'm happy to hear if I'm off, but it's at least 3 years. So, yeah. Phil says, what would it take to build ships in New York State? That's a tough one. Because to build ships in New York State, the way you'd be able to get most of the ships, I don't think could come down. Maybe they could come down the Hudson River. I don't know. Depending on the ship you're building. If you don't have ships that can come down the Hudson River, again, depending, if you're doing deep sea shipping, you probably got to build it out of Brooklyn. That's my assumption. Brooklyn shipyards still exist. You could build them out of Brooklyn. You probably could, in theory, create a couple of shipyards on Long Island. You probably could, but that would be more challenging. You probably could though, but Brooklyn's probably the best place to start building shipping. If you're gonna start redoing shipbuilding in New York State, probably Brooklyn. If you could bring them down the Hudson River, depending upon what kind of ship, you could probably do outside Albany. I could see that Capital District area. I could see them doing shipbuilding there and bringing the ships down the Hudson River. In theory, could you do North Country going up the St. Lawrence? Maybe. It's deep enough. You probably could. I mean, so we either do it in North Country to go up the St. Lawrence River to go out to the Atlantic, or no, you know what? You might be able to do it in theory. I think North Country is probably the best bet because North Country already has some power facilities. North Country, so along the St. Lawrence River. So St. Lawrence River, North Country, that area, or Albany if you can get down the Hudson River, or Brooklyn. Maybe you could do some on Long Island, but it depends on where you're going on Long Island. Well, what would it take? It would take several things. One, it would take someone to want to buy our stuff. I mean, literally, the Koreans, I mean, they're a machine. They make, we'd have to use AI and robotics to do it. Could we do it? Yes. AI and robotics. That'd be, it would take at least a year to put together. We have to go do dark factories. Dark factories, you guys don't know, dark factories are factories that had no people in them. They don't need lights. So they're called dark factories because the robots can't see. So there's no need for lights. So they call them dark factories. You'd have to make a series of dark factories, probably in, again, Brooklyn, maybe something like that. So basically what you'd have is you'd have a massive factory, everything be built by robot and or AI, and the technicians would be in one small room. So you probably have a dozen technicians, designers and stuff to build a ship, something like that. You would do that. That would take, I don't know how many, a year, 2 years? I don't know. You'd have to use AI to build it. AI to build AI. So could it be done? Yes, but that's how. And then if we could then build it cheaper than the Koreans. Now we'd have an advantage of the Koreans. We would. It's a silly advantage, but you'll understand it for a second. One of the reasons why the Germans and the Japanese, after World War II, were able to expand so quickly is because their countries were bombed. I'm not joking. That was one of the reasons. Please, I don't want you to bomb your country, but I'm saying that's one of the reasons why. Every facility they built was a brand new, up-to-date facility. Excuse me. Everyone was. Every one of them was a brand new facility. The advantage of us having old facilities or no facilities is everything we build would be brand new. The Koreans have to worry about their old facilities. So, Phil goes on to say, investing in Philly shipyards. Of course, their facilities are all older now. If you want new, they're going to tear down their old and rebuild new. Why not invest in us? We'll build new ones. So, yeah, I think that's the way you would do it. And if the Koreans are going to invest, that's a great idea because, again, they know how to build ships. So that's not a bad idea either. So anyway, thank you for that question. I appreciate it. Way off topic, I know, but that's okay. All right, hold on. again. God, I'm muted again. I'm going to try to deal with this mute thing. Or maybe you guys just might have to hear me go a bunch because I'm messing this mute thing up tremendously. So I apologize. I didn't want to not do a show because I was sick. I didn't want to chump out, because I didn't do an AMA this week. So maybe I should have, but I'm going to keep going. I'm going to try to keep myself unmuted. I'm going to try to do that if I can do it right. All right. So Kaiwan, I'm trying to see what Kaiwan's saying. I think what he's saying is he doesn't like what Trump did to Curtis Sliwa and Rob Reiner. And he thinks that Trump hated those guys in real life. He knows them, so he didn't say good things. That may be true. Maybe he doesn't like Curtis Sliwa. I'm unsure. Maybe I know he didn't like Rob Reiner. Doesn't matter. If they're alive and talking trash, hammer them, right? If Rob Reiner was alive and going, Trump sucks, and Trump goes, Rob Reiner, a piece of garbage, that's fair game. That's two guys hooping and hollering at each other. Fair game. Call him every name he wants. Whatever. Totally fine. Guy got murdered by his son. You can just say nothing, man. Even if you hate him, you can just say nothing, right? You can. I am not a fan at all of former Governor Andrew Cuomo. Don't like him at all. I think he's a terrible person. If he got harmed in some way, I would not be gleeful. Now, when he stepped down, was I giddy? I was. That was a political stepping down. I was giddy. But if he was physically harmed, I wouldn't do that. Of course not. The guy still has family. His family still loves him. And his family's going to be hurt if he is harmed in some way. His family's still going to be hurting and harmed in some way. I would keep my mouth shut. That's what I would do. If you remember, I was not a fan, if you remember, of Dick Cheney. And when he passed, what did I say? Nothing. I practice what I preach. That's it. So Patty says, don't both L and R like Rob? I think everyone likes Rob, his movies. A lot of them people do. Easy. Look, I can at least, some people cannot. I can separate. I can say someone's a great actor, but I can't stand politics, or someone's a great director, but I don't like the politics. Someone's a great artist, I don't like the politics. I can say that. You want to do bad things. Look, Michael Jackson might have done some things with some kids. I don't know if it's true. He was not convicted. Doesn't mean he wasn't king of pop. Doesn't mean his songs weren't great. They were. Songs were great. And he might have done some bad stuff. And songs are great. Those two things can both exist. So, Lunatic says, these pundits are running a soap opera. Yeah, but how long? Right? And this is the thing I'm not, Rick is saying that it could be just a distraction. Maybe. I'm not against this idea. But at one point, you push it too far, don't you? It can only go so far to where it becomes too much. So, Anna Marie, AI boss. She is the AI boss. She says AI will build AI eventually. Prompt life. Hashtag. Yes. And that's the issue. Correct. That's the issue. I think it kind of has to happen. If we want to be able, this is another reason why people are pushing AI so hard in America. I know a lot of people, you guys don't like it, but it is happening. One reason why they're pushing it is that's how we leapfrog ahead. If, to Bill's point, we want to rebuild, or to Fahim's point, we want to rebuild the shipping industry, that's not going to happen the normal way it's happened in the past. That's going to happen with a dark factory and a whole lot of AI and automation, a whole lot. Where that, where a shipping facility might have been, 300 employees, now it's going to be 15 or something like that. But it'll be 15 high-paying jobs, and they'll all be tech jobs. Some of them will be repairers, it'll be repair jobs too, but there won't be that much repairing. How much will it be? There'll be certain types of repairing. And at one point, you'll have robots who will repair robots. That will happen at one point. So there'll be a lot of people doing it now, and then eventually robots will repair robots. There will be mech bots. That will be a thing at one point. So we'll see. So yes. All righty. Daniel says, we're going to be getting those tariff checks next year. If he's smart, yes. If Trump is smart, yes. That is a really good idea. That is a really good idea. That will make people feel better. They will. It sounds dumb, but people will feel better. If we get those checks, people will feel better. Absolutely. So Missy says, where do you stand politically? Take the free quiz of the Advocates for Self-Government to find out. It's easy, quick, and fun. Yes, there is a link that's in the YouTube, Facebook, and Rumble. That's a link to the Advocates. Guys, Advocates they're literally a sponsor of the show. If you want to do me a favor, head on over there and don't just take that one. You can take that if you want to, but you could also take, I think the time is right to take the Doge single issue survey. This is not a bad survey. It's an interesting one. Take the single issue survey. Just go take survey and start answering questions through this. And as you answer the questions on the actual survey, I did not mute that time. You can see what you think or thought about Doge. What is your view on placing a tech billionaire like Elon Musk in charge of government reform efforts? What's the closest one to your thoughts? It brings much needed business expertise and efficiency to bloated government bureaucracy that career politicians and civil servants cannot provide. Or it presents a dangerous conflict of interest that gives private business interests undue influence over public institutions and resources. Or the problem isn't who leads government reform, but the existence of a massive federal bureaucracy that should be drastically reduced regardless of who's in charge. What's the closest to what you feel? Click on that one, whichever one that is, go to next, and boom, again and again and again until you are done. And once you are done, you finished, share it. Share it and let others do this. The more we do this, the better. I know some of you are like, Larry, I'm going to do this. Do you care about the show? Support the sponsor. Click the link. Take the quick test. Takes you 3 minutes. Doesn't cost you a dime. Share it out on one of your social media points. Makes me happy. Makes the advocates happy. Everybody's happy. We're talking about advocates for self-government. We're trying to change culture so that people begin to realize you can survive with self-government. You can. Most people can't believe it. They can't imagine it. Well, let's help them through. Let's put our hand out and assist them. How? By sending them here, theadvocates.org. Thank you guys so much. Yes. All righty. I do appreciate that, Missy. Thank you. All righty. See, I'm going to go down here. All right. JG says, but aren't GOP consultants usually wanting candidates to lose because they get more money? Consultants don't always care about winning or losing, but they're better off if they win because then they have more of a track record of victories. But yeah, they want money either way. That's the thing. They win either way. So Andrea says, even when my ex passed from cancer, I told his cousin, who was bad-mouthing him, that I would never wish death on anyone. Agreed. Right? Yeah. Agreed. All righty. I covered that one. Michael says, personally, I don't want left or right getting the White House for nearly 200 years. That's all we've had is Obama, Bush, Trump, etc. I knew Trump was anti-freedom and authoritarian before his first term, he goes on. Yeah, look, I would love us to not have Republicans and Democrats anymore. But next time, maybe. I hope. I hope. Yes. Kai one says, what do you think of the goddess of smoke, Susie Wiles, and her BS? Because she's always trying to make sure BS is in this administration more than the American First version in America. See, this is an issue here. Some people think that Susie Wiles is somehow some deep state op that's trashing Trump. And some people are saying, oh, no, she actually loves Trump, but she's got to protect him. I don't know which one it is. I don't know. My gut says she's just trying to do what she thinks is right. That is what my gut says, but I don't have evidence either way. She is very powerful, that's for sure. And she is very controlling, that's for sure. At the end of the day, if things aren't getting done or are getting done, it's her responsibility and or her fault. Yes. Phil says, did you order that code red? Who's on that wall? I did both. I ordered the code red and I went on the wall. That is how cool I am. I did both, Phil. I wasn't playing. I had to tell you that, even though I thought you probably can't handle the truth. Just saying. So, all righty. Stop the Madness says, Bongino needs to separate himself from Patel, who's super corrupt. Patel is taking a beating. I think Bongino leaving is a smart move for Bongino. You can't stand under that guy. Patel is taking a beating. He might be next. He is taking a beating. So look, if I'm Bongino, I think I bail too. Or I try to find some other place that I can go, right? If I want to stay in the government, I got to find some other place. But yeah, absolutely. So Julia, is Julia a bot? She may be. But she goes, another bad jobs report was released yesterday. The unemployment rate went up again for the fifth month in a row. Yeah, unemployment is a problem. As I mentioned earlier, bot or no bot, unemployment is a problem. Why? Because jobs aren't coming back. That's the issue. Jobs aren't coming up. Well, I'm exaggerating. Many jobs aren't coming back is what I would say. Some jobs are, but most aren't. Companies are ending their job. Like when people leave, they're not rehiring. That's the problem. They're not rehiring. That's the part that's making things hard for everybody. They're not rehiring. So, okay, now we lose people. Rehire them? Yeah. We'll AI them or make people work harder or whatever. That is happening. It's true. It is a problem. So, all righty. Give Me Liberty says, Trump keeps going the way he is, and the Dems will take all three branches of government. Mike is asleep. I agree with you. I think Mike's wrong on this one. I think he's wrong on this. I think Trump has to do something. If Trump just keeps going, again, Trump could fix this, but you're right. If Trump just keeps going this way, it's going to be a bloody 2026 for the Republicans. It's going to be terrible. Like I called last election. It was going to be bad, terrible. I see it, and I see this one. If they don't make some changes next year, it's going to be bad. Again, if anyone can fix it, it's Trump, but I don't see him fixing it right now. I mean, he's got a year, so he's got time. He could fix it. A year's plenty of time. It's fixable for him. But if he doesn't, if he just keeps this doubling down, tripling down stuff he does, the Republicans are going to get trashed in 2026. And I mean, they're going to lose the House. They're going to lose the Senate. They're going to lose a bunch of governorships. They're going to get trashed in 2026. And not because Democrats are good. Democrats are still terrible. But the problem is they won't let independents let the independents in, and we could save them, Republicans. Let independents in, stopping them from getting the ballot. There's your savior right there to do that. Because what Americans really want is not Democrats and not Republicans. They want something else. But if they're angry, they'll vote for spite. We see it all the time. So yes, you're right. So, all righty. Let's see here. D says, but the cupcake press secretary tells me that jobs are up, wages are up, gas and wood are way down. That's what MAGA tells me, and you should listen to MAGA. MAGA is always right. MAGA cares about you, D. Do you feel the love? So do I. Of course, I'm teasing. And that's the problem. You can keep saying everything's great, but at one point, people see it. At one point, they see it. So yes, that's the issue. All righty. The Philo abstract says there's a big difference between random people and the President of the United States behaving in that manner. Glaring optics. True. That's the point. Yes, true. Yes. Mike says Republican masses did not join Trump on Reiner. Agreed. Literally, we saw an inverse of Kirk. It's not a big deal, but Dems are mad because you're wrong, Mike. Philo's right. Trump doing it is a big deal. If he would have said nothing, Republicans would have been golden. Would have been golden because you're right. The average Republican did not jump on Reiner at all. They were like, Trump was wrong. He should have said nothing. You should accept that as true, Mike. He screwed that up. He messed that one up. He should not have said anything. He just kept his mouth shut because he is the top. It's a big deal when he says something. It always is. I mean, it is. It always is. Yes. So, all right. And keep going down here. Grab some more of these. Rick says, there's a video of Rob Reiner mourning Charlie Kirk and saying it was awful and no one should die for the biblical speech. Yes. Yes. D says I should mute. I'm mute right now. All right. So now I'm back on. Did I do it right this time? Okay, there we go. So John says some Democrats, politicians, not the very top, did say bad things about Charlie. A lot of the mainstream media said bad things about Charlie. Yeah, some did, but it was nowhere near. Most of them were not top, right? It was like some some pundit on MSNBC or something. It was like, minor. No one in leadership was saying that. I don't remember any of them. If you could show me one, John, I'd like to see it. I don't remember any of the top guys doing it. I don't remember any of them doing it. So yeah. All righty. Here I got muted again. I know. I keep muting myself. I got to stop muting myself. I see a bunch of guys going, "You muted." I know. I'm stopping now. Yes. The Belgians will watch you speak Flemish. Cute. Oh, nicely done. Nicely done. Is Flemish in Belgium, but also the Netherlands? And it kind of covers both. Then that's right. So, yes. All righty. We'll walk down here. The beauty says, the man has zero humility. It sucks, actually. He lies to us that the economy is great and people are struggling. I will always say you have a very valid point here. Most of the time, people, their greatest strength is also their greatest, weakness. And Trump is both of those. His confidence is a strength. It is. He projects strength amazingly. And it also is a weakness because he sometimes does not want to admit that he's wrong ever. So yeah, I think it's both. And that zero humility does hurt sometimes. It does. I think you're right. I think you're right. All righty. Beauty goes on to say AI will make shipbuilding faster, actually, but of course it's going to take time. Yes, over time. Yes, over time it will. But once it's up and running, it should be better, right? If it takes 2 years, whatever it takes to figure out what to do and how to do it, whatever, at that point you're just cranking out chips. It's 24/7, right? It's literally 24/7 machines. Great. Phil says the St. Lawrence Seaway. I like that. Rick says this summer, Trump will drop all tariffs and watch the economy roar back in time for November in my alternate universe where he's really smart. That's not a bad idea. It really isn't. It's not a bad idea, right? And people talk about it. Yeah, it's not a bad idea. So the video says, could you build ships in Florida? The problem with Florida is the weather, right? The weather is the problem in Florida. So that would be an issue. You have to have areas that are safe from the weather, right? Bays and such, things like that. So there's areas you could, and you don't want to have like hurricanes and stuff, but there's hardly any here in New York. It happens, but it's very rare. So New England, not as bad either. So yes. So Phil says Buffalo or Rochester, maybe. Not Buffalo, because you gotta go to the falls. No, not Buffalo. Maybe Rochester, but I can see, I don't see the technically, yeah. You got some technical stuff there. Maybe Rochester, maybe. I don't think Buffalo. Syracuse, maybe. No. Too far away. Now, probably Rochester, maybe. I could see Rochester. Build ships in Newburgh or Poughkeepsie, down the Hudson. Those places to me feel like they wouldn't want them, right? Capital District would want the jobs more. I'm not sure that those areas would want them. If they would, yes, of course, they wanted them. But I don't know if they'd want I don't know if they'd want that. Maybe. So we'll see. All right, Beauty goes, California, Florida, and California can build all year round to the weather. I think no. Remember, you're building inside. You're building inside if you can, right? If you build outside, you got the Florida hurricanes. So maybe. I don't know. D Nice says, if EU ups war with Russia, what happens to us? I hope nothing. Look, I think the Ukraine war ends next year. Unless the EU is insane and they literally put German, British, French troops, Polish troops in Ukraine to fight Russians. If that happens, that seems insane to me. I don't know why they would do that. That seems crazy. All those countries are, you know what? I've just answered my own question. All those countries are in trouble and they would do it just to distract their population or something. And put their youth in war so they're not doing stupid. Maybe. Okay. Maybe I've answered my own question. It is a terrible idea. I do not think Americans want to fight Russians in Ukraine. I don't see it. I don't see us doing it. I can't imagine Trump deciding that he could do that without some form of authorization or war. That's not drug dealers, right? The stuff he's making up in Venezuela. That's not taking the oil. I mean, he's going to say it's the minerals. Is going to say that. I don't see it. I think if the EU actually goes to war with Russia, I hope, I can't see it happening, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe their friends go, you know what? Our country's in trouble, so we want to fix things and distract people and falsify our GDP by massive spending. So we'll just go to war and it'll look like we're doing great, and we'll do that. It's possible. If they do that, I mean, what would wind up happening is the Russians would then feel like they can do all out whatever they want. And that will be a very nasty war. And the other problem is the French, the British, and the Germans, they don't know how to fight that war. The units they're training don't have any value. They're training them in, NATO stuff, which means nothing. They're training in the last Cold War. The best trainers are Ukrainian trainers because they've been fighting, right? So the Ukrainians who've survived the front line, they are the best trainers. The EU, they have to hire Ukrainians to train the EU guys who would then go in there and get slaughtered by Russians who are trained, who've been fighting forever, right? So I don't know. That'd be a tough one. I don't think we join. I don't think America joins that war. I can't imagine us joining that war. For what? The slaughter that would happen, the tanks we would lose, the aircraft we would lose, unless we did a total AI war. And we're not ready for that. We're right now, America's prepping for a war with China. That's what America's currently prepping for. We're not prepping for a war with Russia. We're prepping for a war with China. That's what we're actually doing. We're prepping for a war with China. So I don't see it. I mean, it'll be a disaster for us. So, yeah. All righty. Fahim says Oswego will be a good place to manufacture. Yeah, there's also there's a nuclear power plant there too. So, yes, that could also work. Yes. So, all right. I know I was muted again. I'm sorry, guys. All right. Ken says, can a Governor Sharpe do for New York what Malaya has done for Argentina, but instead of the painful rip off a chainsaw with a surgical precision of a scalpel, a really sharp scalpel? Nice. Yes and no. A lot of people, particularly libertarians, want me to like immediately cut the debt and do all those things. New York is a basket case for those things. I can't do all the things that you'd want to do. But could I do a lot of them? Yes. Would I want to do things like, ending zoning? Yes. Banning all forms of rent control? Yes. Of course, that I would do immediately. Those types of things, because they're unconstitutional, wrong, and only hurt. So, of course. So those types I'd want to do, of course. And there would be a year of chaos, a year of pain. And I would tell people that. They would have to do that. There's no other way of doing it. So, yeah. All righty. Okay. I know I'm muting again. I apologize for that. I'm trying to keep going. All right. I've done a lot of that. Pass through that one. Patty says, love Michael Jackson's song Man in the Mirror. Yeah, I agree. Michael says the same could be said with Bill Cosby. Yes. Bill Cosby, for those of you who don't know, Bill Cosby was one of the first black men on TV. I'm not joking, in the 60s. It's one of the first black men on TV. He did a lot of good stuff. He really did. And became a graper. So, yes. So, you can still say the things that were good, also the things that are bad. You can do both. Absolutely. All right. Kintsugi's here. Hey, Kintsugi. Good to see you. As always, glad you came by. Glad you came by to say hi to everybody. There is something I want to bring up. This is something that's important when it comes to community, because community. She brings up, you can survive. We can survive as long as we have no government. I know we can survive. Yes, these things can do. Yes. However, there's a place where they're talking about exactly how do we make. There's a place where we're talking about exactly how do we actually make things better. How do we build those communities that Kintsugi's talking about, that Lunatic's always talking about? Where can you find that? Yeah, it was civil. It's always civil. Yes, civil. Actually have right now, there's a small piece here I want to bring up if I can. This is actually on civil. If you check them out, hold on. on. I will show you. Oh, and here we go. He just started this. It's live. Is this crazy?
Welcome, friends. Welcome, John Bush here with Live Free Academy, and I am
the Live Free Academy,
a series about opting out of the matrix.
Did you hear that, lunatic? He wants to tell you how to opt out of the matrix, and you thought I wasn't on board. This guy's doing it right here. He's talking about it.
Or Civil, the online streaming platform. If you've been following along each of the weeks, Derek Bros and I have been breaking things down in a 10-week series. Wow. And this is week 9. So,
and they've been talking about all types of things here. How to grow your community. The 4 C's of strategy.
To independence.
This is details. Look.
Fostering teamwork and participation.
Lunatic, you watching? You paying attention?
This delegation and empowerment.
This is here on Civil, CIVL.com. Code Larry10 for 10% off. When you join up, you get this. Plus, you get me. I'm on there too. Go ahead, join up. Watch shows like this. Watch series like this. Learn how to build community. Learn how to self-govern. Learn how to change your local area to be better. We are building civilization. We are upgrading civilization here on Civil, CIVL.com. That's Civil. Code Larry, the coolest name on the internet. 10 for 10% off. Look at what you get. Every single time I do a show, I show you something cool. Every single time I do a show, I show you something interesting. Why? Because Civil's packed with this stuff. So get your butt over there, Civil.com, code Larry10, 10% off, and figure out how to build your own community. Yes. Thank you guys. I appreciate your support. I really do. All right, let me keep going down here. There's so many of these. I do want to grab some more of these. I'm trying to get as many of these as I possibly can. I am trying. So, all righty. Let's see here. Nosy said Jerry Springer took over the drama scene and then politics turned into Jerry Springer. Ooh, I like that. Rick says Doge has been dodged successfully. More performance of dramatic change, smoke and mirrors, and no actual change. Sadly, true. Daniel says 26 is the year for the independents. Yes. Keep going. I agree. The independents are going to pop up this year. You're going to see it. Absolutely. All righty. All right. Did I not read that one already? I think I read this already. Okay. Where am I? Phil says Tampa Bay. Maybe. I don't know how well that bay works for large shipping. I don't know enough about Florida to know that. So maybe. Yes. All right. John says, yet Democrats say, don't believe your eyes. The economy is great in the middle of record inflation. President Trump has said the economy is bad because of Biden, but it's getting better. Gas, eggs. Everyone just says this stuff is good, John. You're right. Democrats, Biden was like, everything's fine. What's wrong with you? When nothing was fine. Now Trump's like, everything's great. When nothing's great. They both say, if you're seeing some pundits are saying they're like, this is like Biden. They're actually saying that. They're saying, this is like Biden now. And there's some truth to that. There's some truth to that. Like, yeah, don't, I know it looks bad, but it's not. Yes. Then he goes on to say, Pfizer's now manufacturing WMDs. Is this 5D chess of Trump going after Big Pharma? Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. Nosy goes, St. Louis ship. My dad was a welder until Union went on strike. Yeah, you can go down the Mississippi River, right? So then these rivers are very navigable, right? It depends on what types of ship you're building and how you get them down, right? Most of these larger ships, you can't actually sail them down. You have to use a tugboat and somehow pull them down or push them down is how most of them are done. But it depends on what kind of ship you're making. You even make like part of the ship in one area and the rest in another area. Maybe make the hull here and then the top here and whatever here, whatever. That also could work too. But again, if you're doing dark factories, doesn't matter. The tugboat would be AI, right? So it wouldn't matter anyway. So yes, either way would work. So, excuse me. All righty. Lunatic says the shipyard in Marinette, Wisconsin is backlogged. Regulations, no skilled workers, work conditions are why the shipbuilding is not popular. Yeah, a lot of those things. I agree. So that's all fixed with dark factories. All fixed. All fixed. Nose goes on to say the best, U.S. best get the grid up to par before any power grid war happens. 100% true. Yes, 100% true. Yes. Phil says, I Spy was really good. Yes, I Spy. Nicely done. Phil knows that's the show that Bill Cosby was on. That is true. Back in the 60s. Absolutely true. Phil, look at you. I like that. All righty. Okay. Kentucky says, Larry, you can still be Morpheus. I'm trying to be Morpheus. I have those cool glasses, put them on, right? I'm going to be Morpheus. I still have to find Neo. I don't know who Neo is. So I'm happy to be Morpheus. Maybe Lunatic's Neo. Maybe you Neo. I gotta be. See, he's Lunatic's doing all this stuff, and I gotta calm him down. I gotta put him in a dojo. I gotta get him to be more. Maybe. See, Kentucky, you might have found it out. Maybe Lunatic's Neo. Maybe I'm Morpheus. What do you think about that, Lunatic? Maybe. So there we go. So could be true. Yes. So Phil says Will Smith was in the running for Neo in the Matrix. That would have been a very different version. True. Very different. Yes. But then how do you change Morpheus then? Or would it only be him swapping out? Or would you like change the entire cast? I don't know. That'd be interesting. So, all right. Okay. Let's try. All right, we did this already. Okay. What am I missing? Oh, hold on. Dark Factory says, John says, Dark Factories does not fix federal regulations. How ships can be built, how many hulls, and so many other things that other countries do not demand. Yeah, but they would, because what would happen is you'd have to begin to rewrite everything, right? And AI, as Trump's already said, is just magical. That's just it. Done. So, yes. Okay, Lunatic's on board. He's like, I am the one. Yes. Yes. So see, when I train Lunatic effectively and I see it working, everyone's gonna be looking around going, what's going on with Lunatic? And I'm like, he's beginning to believe he's the one. See, I will be Morpheus. Absolutely. Yes. It's okay. Because when I get trapped, Lunatic, by the agents, you got to come save me like Neo did. So when they arrest me and trap me, try to get my brain, you got to come save me. So I think we got this going on. I think we got the whole plan. This is getting good. This plan's getting, I'm liking this plan. I'm liking this movie. I'm liking this plan. I'm in. We're good. Guys, I do want to say thank you so much for this evening. I'm going to be cutting it short here because my throat is getting crazy. Click that like button if you haven't already. Please do so. Please repost this as always. I wish I could have done a bit more for you tonight, but you could already hear my voices going, and I got fundraisers to do this weekend. So I got to keep my voice so I could make that money. Of course, my governor campaign is reporting coming up here in 2 weeks. So I got to focus on that coming up here. If you guys would do me a favor, as always, after this, please comment. What do you think about the Republican party now? Are they in trouble for 2026 or not? Is it going to be a problem in 2026 or not? Please let me know. And of course, if you are not watching this live, you see two pop up, please click on one of them right away. Watch for at least 8 or 10 minutes. I will see you all very soon.